18th of December, Rabbi, Furst, Pierke, Avos.
Yeah, this is Rabbi Furst, as you mentioned. You see some enough. You see, you saw on Zoom. Yes, we're learning our first year, Pierke Avos. We are in paragraph. Yeah, the last two paragraphs. Amnon, starting with the paragraph two from the back from the end. Paragraph starting with the words Amnon Misha Isaac Potadia. Okay.
Did I read?
Yeah, if you like, go ahead, please. Good morning, Eliezer. It's very good to see you there too.
Amnam mi she'eno osek ba tadir. However, one who is not involved comes to tadir. What's tadir?
However, the one who's not involved with it, meaning learning Torah continually.
Continually.
Rabbi, can you fix up the screen, please?
But it's something's where I think there's a Chinaman interfering with our transmission here. Spies, you've heard about them.
Yeah.
I don't know, it disappeared. I don't know why. There's a Chinaman in the midst.
Mhm.
When it comes back, I'll try and do it. Oh, you see? See, he's playing around with my cursor. See, I'm not moving my cursor. The Chinaman's moving the cursor.
I hate to tell you, Rabbi, but it's actually Hashem.
Well, everything's a shame. We know that, yes.
It's
But,
by the Chinaman.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's what it's referring to as Amnon, the person who's not involved with learning Oisik Ba. What's the Oisik Ba? He's not involved with learning Torah continually. Tadir, see, Tadir there's a word similar to Tadir. There's a word Tamid, and there's Tadir, right? So then they're related, but they're not exactly the same. One is Tadir is like continually. Tamid is regularly. Right. So the difference between being involved with something regularly and something that's you're involved with continually. Something can be regular but not continual.
I don't get that. Something can be regular but not continual.
Sure. Something Rosh Chodesh comes once a month, so it's regular, but it's not continual.
Continual means what? Every day?
It means constant.
Without stop.
Tadir means Tadir is something which is on a constant basis, and something Tamid is on a regular basis.
Okay. Klomar, Shalo Hagia le Midragas le Midragas Me'ayin She'eno Posek. Klomar, that is to say, Shalo Hagia. What's Hagia?
He hasn't reached.
Reach?
Yes.
Doesn't reach the level Me'ayin She'eno Posek. What's Posek?
Which does not cease. a mayon she'eno, a mayon is a well, a spring. You have a spring of water, right? So the mushal, the analogy which is being drawn here is that you have a spring of water, a well of water, and it's continually bringing forth water, right? Continually brings forth water. So that's a mayon she'eno poisek, a mayon which does not cease, right? So a person, as is this what's being said here, a person who is not involved with learning Torah tadir on a constant basis, kolomer, what does that mean? That means has not come to the level, the status is not achieved. Has not achieved the status, the level of a mayin she'ena posik, of a spring, well, which never ceases. I mean, a spring of water, right? If it's always putting forth its water, so that's a mayan she'ena posik. So likewise, a person who's not going to be learning Torah tadir constantly, so he has not yet reached that level of a mayan she'ena posik.
Avos, he, konas, malat, tadir, al ha adar, ha pasak, biyadias, tomai, or tamei.
Time, but it is time a mitzvah ve'amunos.
So
Right.
because this is an acquisition, what's malat?
So it says kizos he kavanas, not kindness, but kavanas. The meaning here, kizos he kavanas milas tadir. What's the meaning of the word tadir? Continually, al eder hefsek, on the lack of hefsek, the lack of cessation, meaning the continuality. B'yedias taimei mitzvos v'amunos. He's continually, right, without cessation. He's continually gaining more knowledge of the taimei mitzvos, the reasons for the mitzvahs, v'amunos, and our beliefs. He's continually gaining more knowledge of the mitzvahs and our beliefs. Meaning, the mechaber here is separating between the mitzvahs and the emunis, our beliefs. Meaning, really, we have two things. We have these two things. We have mitzvahs, right? Mitzvahs are the actual behaviors which the Kadosh Baruch Hu wants us to be involved with on a regular basis. Person wakes up in the morning, says Modani, washes his hands, right? He gets himself dressed, cleans up, and then he's ready to start davening. He makes all his brachas, etc. Kriyishma, Shemon Esrei, right? And these are his basic chiyuvim. Puts on talis and tefillin, right? It's Yom for Sukkot, he takes a lulav. It's Rosh Hashanah, he listens to a shofar, right? These are all the mitzvahs. These are the things which the Kadosh Baruch Hu commands us to do through primarily our outward physical behavior, right? To some extent, there are also mitzvahs that are involving makshava and thought. So those are things that have to do with our emunos, our beliefs. So these things, the understanding of these things in terms of their deeper and more profound significance, these things are available to a person who's going to be learning Torah on a regular, constant basis, right? And these things will become available, the knowledge of these things will become available to him based on his involvement in learning Torah on a regular basis. And the unique thing about Torah is that we mentioned this last week, that even though a person may be involved with one area of limud. Let's say he's learning about shchita. He's learning the Gemara and Chulin. He's learning about the laws of shchita and the various different things which invalidate an animal which is ritually slaughtered for Jewish consumption. So he's learning about those things. So those laws and sugyas, aspects and areas of the Gemara that he's learning for the learning of the specific mitzvah of shchita, right? That's going to affect him globally in terms of his very fulfillment of other mitzvahs and other beliefs that have to do with his basis of fulfilling Hashem's ratzon, because he's being a Jew. So his being a Jew obligates him to keep the mitzvahs, and it obligates him to keep certain beliefs, to have certain beliefs. And the learning of Torah on a continual basis is going to be a enabling factor for him to gain as much knowledge about these things as possible. Okay.
Ad shelo yiyeh ha-pasak b'teshuvo sav l'chol shoel, until that is not ceasing in his tshuva for all shoel, all questions.
All that ask, meaning ad shelo yeh hefsek b'teshuvasav, until there'll be no interruption in his answers to anyone that asks.
He zeh nishma nimshach lo mehader yidias sisrei Torah. Because this nimshach is to use.
That because meaning he's referring to now the inability to properly answer a question, right? The inability to properly answer a question properly. This is nimshach. This is an outcome of me'eda yedias sisrei Torah. It's a consequence, right? It's a consequence of a lack of knowledge of the basic principles of the Torah.
Sisrei are principles.
Sisrei Torah, I'm referring to them as the basic principles of the Torah, right?
Okay. Hine,
Right, good.
Ha'ish she nifsak me'ayin yedi aso. And we see the man that ceases or interrupts from the wellspring of knowledge. Hu mechayev be'emes alvon haTorah. He is liable in truth. What is albon?
Oh, but this go back to the very beginning of our statement, right? Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, the very first line in the first paragraph, right? Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, b'kol yom b'yom bas kol yotzes mor charev. That said Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, each and every day a bas kol comes out from Har Chorev, Umaskeres, and proclaims, Omeres, and says, Oilem lebrias me'el bono shel Torah. Oi, oh, how terrible it is for those people Elbono shel Torah, for those that disgrace of the Torah.
So it's
So
disgrace. So
yeah, right.
he's liable for it. He's truly liable for disgracing the Torah
Right.
just because he took a break.
Oh no, the break-in is itself. That's causing a lack of proper understanding of the Sisrei Torah, and because he lacks the proper understanding of the Sisrei Torah, he's not going to answer the questions properly, and not answering the questions properly, that's going to lead to the disgrace of the Torah.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Ka'asher yavo alav eze shoel niv bisodos haTorah vitame ha-mitzvos. Because when he comes upon it, or someone comes upon him, this question what's niv-och?
Right. Nivoch is confused. You have one second, let me just refer. If you have a Sefer Shmos, take a look Sefer Shmos for a moment. If you have a Chumash in Parshas Bashalach, we'll be getting to it in a few weeks. We're going to be finishing up. This is Parshas V'yigash, then Parshas V'yechi, then we have Shmos, V'yeira, Boy, and then Bashalach. So in about 4 weeks, we'll be getting to this with that Parshas Bashalach. So, if you take there a look at the beginning of Parshas Bashalach, yeah. If you look at the beginning of Parshas Bashalach and Shmos, chapter Yud Daled, chapter 14, Pasuk Gimel.
Paro will say about the children of Israel, they are confined in the land. The wilderness has locked them in. So let's see what the Hebrew is. Nevuchis.
Nevuchim. Right.
Nevuchim means to be locked in.
Well,
confined.
It really means confounded.
Confounded. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Confounded.
Yeah. My mind of Israel, Moreh Uvenuchim. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Right. So here also that what's the context over here? Again, it says over here that we're learning here. So it said, "Who mechayev be'emes elbono Torah?" This person is who has a lack of proper understanding of the basic principles of Torah in terms of the mitzvahs and their beliefs, because he's not involved with Torah constantly, and therefore he's not going to answer properly the questions put to him. Navuch, the sodas of Torah, the timing mitzvahs, al shurish amunos. Since when they'll come upon him, a person who's navuch, a person's confused about the sodos Torah, the principles of Torah, but timing mitzvahs and reasons for the mitzvahs, or the sources of our beliefs. So a person's going to come, a person who's confused about things, and wants to be sorted, wants somebody to sort it out for him, so he won't be confused. Right? So if a person is not involved properly, constantly with learning Torah, that he's able to delve into the proper reasons of the mitzvahs and the reasons and sources of our beliefs. So when a person is confused and comes to ask him a question, he's not going to answer him properly, then that's going to be the Elbonim Shel Torah. That's going to be a disgrace of Torah. The whole what we're learning here is, if you don't mind, go back to the go back to go back to the third paragraph. Look at the third paragraph. Va'oid.
Va'od ki kafi tava halashon.
Ki kafi teva haloshin. According to, that's what I would say means grammar. According to grammar.
Right. We see for him to teach or to learn, woe to them, the people who are shamed with the Torah.
Well, no, no. Oilem lebrios me'elbonis. Oilem, it's woe to those people me'elbonim over the disgrace of Torah, right? So what does that mean? The disgrace of Torah. What does that mean? The disgrace of Torah, right? What's it supposed to mean, right? So up until now, he's been giving a lengthy preface to his explanation, what it's supposed to, what does it mean, Elbonos to Torah, right? Lama, he says, Lama Elbonos shel Torah. Why did it say, right, Elbonos shel Torah, the disgrace of Torah, right? So now, if you go back to our paragraph here, right, the second paragraph from the end, and he says here, meaning he says like this. He says again, Amnon. He says, let's look at the whole paragraph again. Amnon. However, a person is not going to be involved with the Torah on a constant basis. He has not reached the status of being like a Mayan Shena Poisik, a spring which does not cease from giving forth its water. Meaning, what does it mean? The word tadir, that's on the Eider Hefsik, the ideas timing mitzvahs and munas. That means it's without cessation, the gaining knowledge over the reasons for our mitzvahs and our beliefs, until Ad Shaloya Hefsik B'Teshuvos of the Kol Shav, he will not have any interruption. There will not be any lack of response in his answers to anyone who asks him a question. Because why? If he's going to be incapable of answering a person's question, that's because he is lacking a full understanding of the principles of the Torah. So a person who is now going to cease from giving forth his knowledge, he's this person who's going to be lacking in giving forth his knowledge about the Torah and its mitzvahs and its beliefs. he's going to be chayiv, truthfully, for the disgrace of the Torah. This person is bringing this disgrace to the Torah. Why? That because when there's going to become to him and present somebody a question to him about his confusion, the Yisodis of Torah, in the principles of Torah, the timing of mitzvahs and the reasons of the mitzvahs, and Shorshei Emunos, and the source of our beliefs, right? Then a person's going to ask him about these sort of things. Lo yadin leishiv, he's not going to have an answer for him. He won't have an answer for him. So that's going to be, right, el bona shel Torah. That's going to be a disgrace to the Torah. Okay, take a look again, the beginning of this last paragraph.
Okay. Vayishal lo al davar may hadvarim ha'ela. And they will
Right, if a
ask.
person's going to write, if a person's going to ask him about these things, he's going to ask him about Yesodus of Torah, the basic principles of the Torah, Taimi mitzvahs, the reasons of the mitzvahs, Shorshi Amunas, or the source of our beliefs.
Below yada lahashiv, and he won't know how to answer. Bioso mo chezek muchezek lechacham yechashuv shehu chesron b'Torah shelo b'yira Tame hadvarim al borin.
Borion, right? Again, so if a person is going to come and ask him about these things, meaning the principles of the Torah, the reasons of the mitzvahs, and the source of our beliefs, lo yada he's not going to know how to answer. He's not going to have an answer for him. Why? That why is he's not going to have an answer for this person? That granted that this person is mukzak l'chacham, it's granted that this person is considered to be wise. Yechashiv shu kasorim b'Torah shelo bira tamei advarim. That so this person who is considered to be wise in Torah, but he's not going to have a proper answer for a person who's coming to ask him the question. Shu chasoron b'Torah shelo bira tamei advarim al. It's not attributed to the person himself that he is lacking the knowledge to answer properly, but the person coming to ask about these various different things, and he's not going to get a satisfactory answer to his questions. He's not going to say, well, the person I asked was lacking in his knowledge. Rather, he's going to say, Shu chasorim b'Torah shelo biria taimei advarim al. It's a lack in the Torah. It's a fault of the Torah that it's not explaining reasons for the things properly.
I'm not sure where we left off.
Okay, we're in the 5 words into the second line of the last paragraph.
Vizahu albona shel haTorah atzma, and this is a disgrace of the Torah itself. Shenim shach mehadar haosek ba tadir. what's nimshach?
This is a consequence.
That the consequence,
It is a consequence. The elbona Torah, the disgrace of the Torah atzmo itself, shenimshach, is a consequence.
it's a consequence of that he's not involved in the Torah continuously.
Right. That again, we said at the very beginning, right? Oilem the Brias, the very beginning, Oilem the Brias, right? Elboni shel Torah. Oh, woe is to those people for the disgrace of the Torah. So how is there a disgrace of the Torah? The disgrace of the Torah is because a person who's learning, but he's not learning continually, he's not learning Lishma, so he's learning, and people will come to ask him questions, and they will be expecting answers, satisfactory answers from him. And if he's not able to give them satisfactory answers, it's because, right, this is a result of his lack of being involved with Torah on a constant basis. And that's going to lead to the disgrace of the Torah, this lack of learning Torah on a constant basis, and therefore the inability to answer questions that will come up in a proper way, which leads to the disgrace of the Torah, that is because he is not learning on a constant, regular basis.
So why do we say it's a disgrace of the Torah rather than saying it's a disgrace of that person?
Because people attribute it not to the person himself, but they attribute it to a lack of a flaw in the Torah, that the Torah is not clear and explicit in what it wants us to know. So they don't attribute.
Say this person is a Talmud Chacham, but he doesn't know the answer. Therefore, the Torah stinks.
Well, it's disgrace. I wouldn't say the Torah stinks, but it's a lack. It's a lack of shleimus. There's a lack of perfection in the Torah. The lack of perfection in the Torah is reflected in the inability of a Talmud Chacham to answer the questions properly.
I see. Klomar, pasak, b'me'ayin yidi asa. That is to say, that it's from ceasing that we see his lack of knowledge.
Right. There's a disconnect in the Mayan Yidiyaso, in the source of his knowledge. There's some type of a disconnection between him and the source of his knowledge.
Below Shechayev ha elbon hazeh the vilti osek ba tadir bechoneh ha mikavanas. He's not obligated in this disgrace.
Right. Below shechayev elbon hazeh habilti oisik botader b'kavanas mekuvanas. That he's not obligated in this disgrace of the Torah, except for the fact that he's lacking an involvement in Torah on a continual basis, b'kavanas mekuvanas, with the proper intentions, meaning lishma.
So he he is chayiv if he's lacking in the proper intention,
Right,
but he's not
Yes.
chayiv if it's for some other reason.
right. That this is the primary reason. It could be what she's discussing here. There could be other reasons as well, but this is the primary reason which is being revealed to us here in this brisa, here in the sixth parak of Pierke Avos, right? That the lack of Torah Lishma and the lack of constant involvement in learning Torah, that leads to a Elbono Shel Torah. The Elbono Shel Torah is, as we've been discussing, the lack of ability to answer properly, and therefore people attribute the lack of clarity in the answers they receive not to the person who's giving the unclear answers, but to they attribute that to the Torah, a flaw in the Torah itself, which is a disgrace to the Torah.
Rak she nimshach me alav mitzad hahefsek
Hanizkar.
hanizkav.
Yeah, Hanizkar, that was mentioned, right? It's only the benimshach elov mitzad hahefsek in Israel. This disgrace of the Torah is a consequence of the hefsek, right? The lack of continual learning, as we mentioned above.
Va'al kain amar me al bona shel Torah, and therefore we say that it's a disgrace of the Torah. Klomar, that is to say, she nimshach lo me ha der ha osek ba.
So just remember.
I'm not clear on this last sentence.
Oh, yeah.
That therefore it's called the disgrace of the Torah, kolomar, which means to say, shenimshach la me'eder esikba. The disgrace of the Torah is a consequence of the lack of involvement in it.
Mehader is the lack.
Right.
Okay. Ki ha'eder bidavar ma lo yiyeh savar metzios davar acher bo kinuda. Because the lacking in this matter what is not in his thoughts.
Ki ha'eder bedavar ma lo yiyeh sibas metzias davar acher bo kenoida. Ki ha'eder bedavar, since the lack of something, ma shelo yeh sibas metzias davar acher bo, meaning the lack of something will not be a cause of something else. The lack of something is not going to be the cause of something else in a positive way. It's always going to be in a negative way. The lack of something is always going to cause a lack of something in a negative way.
Ve'im haya omer me elbon haTorah, and if he would say that there is a disgrace of the Torah. Haya nishma shehiyeh magia ha'elbon l'Torah b'simchas mesim bekom aseh, that it is that he hears the what is said
Yeah,
in the disgrace of the Torah.
it's like this. Imay omer me'elbon haTorah, disgrace of the Torah, right? Disgrace. Instead, it was said me'elbono shel Torah, the disgrace of the Torah, not the disgrace of Torah. So if it had been said me'elbon Torah, hayan nishma, it would have been understood shaya megia ha'elbon Torah, that there occurred a disgrace to the Torah, v'shimas masim bekum ase, by the doing of something positive. If it would have said me'elbon Torah, the Torah's disgrace, that would have indicated that it was done, this disgrace, through some type of kumva ase, positive action against the Torah. But that's not the case.
Ve'einenu kach kan. It's not the case. Rak shehu nimshach me atzmo. Only that it's caused from itself. Mitzad ha eder yedias ha asak ba ka'amur. From the perspective of that he knows that his knowledge is interrupted. I'm not clear. What's the sentence that begins with mitzad?
That it's not the elbono shel Torah, the disgrace of the Torah, is not coming from something which is positive happening to it. There's not a positive disgrace, meaning a person throws a tomato at the president of the United States, right? So he's with a positive action, he's disgracing the president of the United States, right?
Right.
So it's different than if the president of the United States makes a faux pas and says the wrong things. He's referring to England and starts talking about Iran instead, right?
Right.
So that's something which is not a positive action which occurred to the president of the United States. That's something which the president of the United States did to himself, right?
Right.
So here it's likewise the same thing. We're talking about there's a difference between the expression elbon haTorah and elbono shel Torah. So the expression that's being used here in the Bryce is elbono shel Torah, the disgrace of the Torah, which is something which is happening passively. It's a passive disgrace to the Torah. Why is it a passive disgrace? Because that's what he's been explaining to us the last two paragraphs. That a person comes along, he's honestly trying to understand something which is difficult. He's trying to ask somebody who he assumes knows and is knowledgeable enough to answer his question, and he sees that he's not getting a satisfactory answer from the person he's asking the question. So he doesn't attribute the lack of satisfaction in getting his answer to his question because of the lack of knowledge of the person who's giving him the answer. Rather, he attributes it to some flaw in the perfection of the Torah itself. So that's El Bono Shel Torah, the disgrace of the Torah. So the disgrace of the Torah is coming passively, that the one who should be able to answer, but since he's not learning consistently enough to understand things properly enough, he doesn't answer the questions properly enough, and therefore that results in a passive disgrace to the Torah. That's why it's referring to El Bono Shel Torah, the El Bono, the disgrace of the Torah through a passive means. Whereas here it says, ain't okay. The Rakshu Nimshach Ma'atzmo. It's something which is Nimshach Ma'atzmo. It's the consequence is occurring on its own, meaning passive. It's a passive consequence. Because why? Why is the disgrace coming? Because of the lack of yediyah, the lack of knowledge in the one who's involved with it. So the one who's involved with Torah, if he's lacking in the proper intention behind his learning, he's not learning Lishma, he's only learning Lo Lishma, he's not learning constantly enough to answer the questions properly enough, that brings arise to a passive disgrace of the Torah, which is referred to as El Bono Shel Torah, rather Elbon HaTorah. Is that okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Very good. Mitzvah Shem. Okay, perfect timing. Thank you, Luna. It's very good. I'll try and prepare another document for you for tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem.
Amen.
And we'll take a little break, and hopefully back soon. I want to have to disconnect. We'll have to restart the meeting when I restart my computer. But that'll be during the break. We can retune in. So, and Roy, have a very good afternoon, Mr. Shem. Hope to see you tomorrow. And as I said, we'll be starting again the Mr. Brush here in Chelik Base of the Mr. Brewer in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Rabbi. See you soon.